Hi, good morning. In the last class, we have discussed about separable spaces and bases in a normed space. Okay. Now, what do you mean by a separable space? A normed space X is said to be a separable space if it contains a dense countable set. Okay, or there is a dense countable set in X. Okay, that means you can find some A subset of X such that A closure is equal to X. Then we call H is a separable space. Now there is another definition of a basis. Okay, a sequence xi equal to 1 to infinity is said to be a basis if for every x belongs to x, there exists a unique series sigma I greater than or equal to 1 ai xi converges to x. Okay, now we are moving to Parseval's identity. Okay, now just look at the statement of the Parseval's identity. Let ei I greater than or equal to 1 be an orthonormal system. Okay, then ei I greater than or equal to 1 is a basis in H if and only if for all x belongs to H, norm of x square equal to sigma I greater than or equal to 1 modulus of inner product of x ei whole square. Okay, and this identity is called Parseval's identity. Now here ei I greater than or equal to 1 is an orthonormal system. Okay, and this is a basis if this condition holds. Now orthonormal system means orthogonal and norm equal to 1. Okay, and if this is a basis, this implies norm of x square equal to this one. First we prove set ei I greater than or equal to 1 is a basis. That means for any x belongs to H, x is actually there exists a unique series I greater than or equal to 1 some ai ei converges to x because ei I greater than or equal to 1 is a basis. Okay, now what about inner product of x ei? And this is equal to sigma I greater than or equal to 1 ai ei. Okay, and this you can write as EIs are orthonormal systems. Okay, and here you can write this is actually A1 E1 plus A2 E2 plus etc. EI. Okay, and this you can write as A1 E1 EI plus A2 E2 EI plus etc. And this is equal to A1 E1 EI plus A2 E2 EI plus etc. And finally this is equal to these are 0. And now what about the ith term? Ith term is ai inner product ei and this is actually 1, therefore this is equal to ai. Therefore if we write x is equal to this one, then ai must be inner product xei, that we have already done. Okay, so that if x belongs to x, then x is equal to sigma I greater than or equal to 1 inner product x ei. This is already we have discussed in the proof of the theorem. Okay, now ai is equal to this one. Therefore if x belongs to H, then x is of this form. Okay, so now we have to evaluate norm of x square. Now we have norm of x square equal to inner product of xx, and this is our x is sigma I greater than or equal to this one. Okay, this we got. Now consider the case containing I greater than 2 elements. Okay, and we generalize this result. This is if I is equal to 2, if this sum is if this sum contains 2 terms, then this become like this. Okay, so here apply linearity property. This is equal to inner product of x e1 comma inner product of x e1 plus inner product of x e2 plus inner product of these 2 terms x e2 comma this term inner product of x e1 plus inner product of x e2. And this is equal to, considering these two terms, we get inner product of x e1 inner product of x e1 plus inner product of x e1 plus inner product of x e2 plus inner product of x e2 inner product of x e1 plus inner product of x e2 inner product of x e2. And what about this? This is actually, you can take inner product of x e1 outside. Here inner product of x e1 conjugate outside. That means inner product of x e1 inner product of x e1 inner product of x e1 conjugate inner product of e1 plus, now what about this term? Inner product of x e1 inner product of x e2 conjugate inner product of e1 is 0. Now this is inner product of x e2 inner product of x e1 conjugate into inner product of e1, that is also 0, plus inner product of x e2 inner product of x e2 conjugate inner product of e2. Now inner product of e1 is 1, this is also 1, this is mod inner product of x e1 square plus this is modulus of inner product of x e2 square. So if there exists two terms, then this inner product is inner product of x modulus of inner product of x e1 square plus modulus of inner product of x e2 square. Okay, if there are two terms. Now what about this sum? Then this is actually equal to sigma I greater than or equal to 1 modulus of inner product of x ei whole square. That's what we have to prove. Okay, therefore norm of x square is equal to sigma I greater than or equal to 1 modulus of inner product of x ei whole square. Okay, now what about the converse? Conversely, assume that this condition holds and we have to prove that I greater than or equal to 1 is a basis. Okay, for proving that for every x belongs to H, we have to write x is equal to sigma I greater than or equal to 1 ai xi. That means there is a series that converges to x. Okay, so now consider this one, norm of x minus sigma I equal to 1 to n inner product of x ei. Okay, now this is actually, we have norm of x square is equal to sigma I greater than or equal to 1 modulus of inner product of x ei whole square. Okay, now here also we apply the result for I is equal to n is equal to 2. Okay, now what about this? This is actually, or okay, this is what we have to find now. Norm of x minus sigma I equal to 1 to n inner product of x ei whole square is equal to inner product of x minus sigma I equal to 1 to n x ei x minus sigma I equal to 1 to n inner product of x ei. Okay, now we consider the case where n is equal to 1. Then this term is actually x minus inner product of x e1 comma x minus inner product of x e1. Now apply linearity property. X minus inner product x e1 minus inner product x e1 comma x minus inner product x e1 and this is equal to inner product xx minus inner product of x comma inner product x e1 okay, minus inner product of x e1 comma x, again minus and minus plus inner product of x e1 inner product of x e1 okay. Now inner product of x is norm of x square okay, minus this term you can write as x e1 conjugate x minus x e1 conjugate x e1 okay, then again minus, here you can take x e1 inner product x e1 outside and this is e1 x and this is actually minus plus inner product of x e1 inner product of x e1 conjugate inner product of x e1 inner product of x e1 conjugate inner product of e1 okay, inner product of e1 now what about this term? This is actually this is minus okay. Now what about this term? This is actually norm of x square minus here minus and here plus. This is minus modulus of inner product of x e1 square, modulus of inner product of x e1 square, again minus this is e1x, you can write as x e1 conjugate, modulus of inner product of x e1 square and this is plus modulus of inner product of x e1 square. Here inner product e1 is 1. Therefore that final term is we get norm of x square minus modulus of inner product of x e1 square. Minus plus cancel, finally we get this one. Okay. So if there exists only one term, this is our result. Therefore if there exists n term, this is actually norm of x square minus sigma I equal to 1 to n modulus of inner product x er whole square. But we have assumed modulus norm of x square is equal to this one. Therefore this is equal to 0. Okay. Therefore norm of x minus sigma I equal to 1 to n inner product of x ei infinity. Okay, we have assumed norm of x square equal to sigma I greater than or equal to 1 modulus of inner product x ei square. Okay, so if as n tends to infinity, this tends to 0. Norm of x square is equal to this one and this is equal to this one. As n tends to infinity, right hand side tends to 0. Therefore this tends to 0 as n tends to infinity. Therefore x is equal to this one. Okay. Now this definition implies I greater than or equal to 1 is a basis of H. Okay. Now we are going to prove one theorem. Before going to the theorem, you just look at this result. Okay. We already proved this result. Let x is equal to I greater than or equal to ai ei and y is equal to I greater than or equal to bi ei. Then suppose ei's are orthonormal. Okay. Then inner product of xy is equal to sigma I greater than or equal to 1 ai bi conjugate. Okay. Now suppose our y, now what about inner product of xx? Xx means this bi conjugate become ai conjugate and this sum become actually sigma I greater than or equal to 1 ai conjugate. That means mod ai whole square. Product of x is equal to sigma I greater than or equal to 1 ai conjugate, and this is equal to sigma I greater than or equal to 1 mod ai whole square. Okay. And now we are moving to our theorem. Okay, now the statement of the theorem is any two separable infinite dimensional Hilbert spaces H1 and H2 are isometrically equivalent. Okay, you remember these two conditions. Any two separable infinite dimensional Hilbert spaces. Okay, any two separable infinite dimensional Hilbert spaces H1 and H2 are isometrically equivalent. Now what is the meaning of isometrically equivalent? That means there exists a linear isomorphism onto T from H1 to H2 such that norm of Tx is equal to norm of x for every x belongs to H1. Okay, and moreover this norm are equal, okay, for every x comma y in H1. Now what is the meaning of that? Norm of Tx, we have to prove there exists a linear isomorphism. Now on to, okay, now what do you mean by linear isomorphism? We have to prove T is linear, also we have to prove T is 1 1, also we have to prove T is on to and satisfies this condition. Okay, so any two separable infinite dimensional Hilbert spaces H1 and H2 are isomorphically equivalent. Okay, we have to prove H1 and H2 are isometrically equivalent. For this, first we prove any infinite dimensional separable in Hilbert spaces are isometrically equivalent to L2. Suppose H is any Hilbert space. Suppose we prove H is isometrically equivalent to L2. Okay. Then using this result, we can say H1 and L2 are linearly isometric. Okay. That means there exists a map some T1. Using the same result, we can prove some T2 from H2 to L2 is a linearly isometric. 1 1 and on to map, therefore it is invertible. Therefore T2 inverse is a map from L2 to H2. Okay, and if you consider composition of this T2 inverse composition, T1 is a map from H1 to H2. Okay, as these are isometry, composition also isometry. Okay, therefore this implies H1 and H2 are isometrically equivalent. So for proving this result, we are proving let H be any Hilbert space, then H is isometrically equivalent to L2. That is, we define a map from T from H to L2 such that norm of Tx is equal to norm of x. Also T is a isomorphism. T is linear, 1 1 on to, also it satisfies this condition. So we are going to prove there exists a map T from any Hilbert space, separable Hilbert space H to L2 such that T is a linear isomorphism. That is, T is 1 1 on to, so it is linear, and T satisfies norm of Tx is equal to norm of x. Okay. So given that H is a separable Hilbert space, using the corollary of corollary after Gramsci-Schmidt orthogonalization, I don't know what is the number. Okay, the theorem says, the corollary says that if H is a separable space, if and only if it contains an infinite complete orthonormal system. Okay. Let EI, so suppose Fi, and another result related to basis, a complete orthonormal system form a basis, okay, in H. So consider an orthonormal, complete orthonormal basis in H. Let Fi be the orthonormal basis in H. Okay, therefore for every x belongs to H, x you can write as sigma I greater than or equal to 1 inner product of x fi fi. Okay, now what about norm of x square? Norm of x square equal to inner product of xx. And using the result, using our previous result, if x is equal to sigma ai ei and y is equal to sigma bi ei, inner product of xy is equal to sigma ai bi conjugate. Also inner product of xx is equal to sigma mod ai whole square. And using this result, okay, we get this is sigma I. Okay, we have to find inner product xx, and this is equal to sigma I greater than or equal to 1 mod inner product of x fi whole square. We have norm of x square equal to this one. Okay, and we have another result. We have a result. Now what about x? X is equal to this one. Suppose this is sigma I equal to 1 to infinity. Okay, so what is the meaning of that? Limit of this series x, that means this series converges. But as this series converges, by our previous result, we have sigma alpha I converges if sigma mod alpha I whole square less than infinity. We have this result. Using this result, this converges means this value is less than infinity. This implies norm of x square is less than infinity. Okay. I greater than or equal to 1 be a normal basis of L2. Okay. Now, we define T from H to L2 as T of Tx equal to sigma I varies from 1 to infinity inner product of x fi ei. Okay. Now what about inner product of norm of Tx whole square? Norm of Tx whole square is equal to sigma I is equal to 1 to infinity inner product of x fi ei comma inner sigma I equal to 1 to infinity inner product of x fi ei. Using our result, this is equal to sigma I is equal to 1 to infinity mod x fi whole square. Okay, we have already we get this is less than infinity in earlier case. Therefore, this is less than infinity. This implies norm of Tx whole square or norm of Tx is this whole raised to 1 by 2 and this is less than infinity. So, norm of Tx is less than infinity. This implies Tx, clearly Tx. What about Tx? Tx is linear combination of elements of elements in actually Tx is linear combination of ei's. Okay, therefore clearly this belongs to L2 and clearly norm is less than infinity. This implies Tx belongs to L2. Okay, Tx is linear combination of these ei. Okay, and also norm of x less than L2. Okay, now we have to prove T is linear. Tx is sigma I equal to 1 to infinity inner product of x fi ei. Okay, now what about T of x plus y? This is equal to sigma I equal to 1 to infinity inner product of x plus y fi ei, and this is equal to sigma I equal to 1 to infinity inner product of x fi ei plus inner product of y fi ei, and this is equal to sigma I equal to 1 to infinity inner product of x f I e I plus sigma I equal to 1 to infinity inner product of y f I e I. Okay, and this is equal to, this is tx plus this is ty. T of x plus y is equal to tx plus ty, and t of alpha x, you can easily write t alpha x equal to alpha into tx. Okay, now we have to prove t is 1 1. Okay, for proving 1 1 we prove kernel of t is equal to set 0. Okay, now tx is a map sigma I equal to 1 to infinity inner product of x f I e I. Okay, now consider set of all x belongs to h such that tx equal to 0. Tx equal to this one, and 0 you can write as tx equal to 0, and this is equal to sigma I equal to 1 to infinity 0 into ei. Using the result representation is unique, we get inner product of x f I equal to 0. Inner product of x f I equal to 0 implies, inner product of x f I equal to 0 implies, we have a result x orthogonal orthonormal basis x over x is orthogonal to fi implies x equal to 0. Thus we get set of all tx such that set of all x belongs to x such that tx equal to 0 contains only one element, and that is 0. Therefore kernel of t equal to z0. This implies t is 1 to 1. Now we are going to prove t is onto. Let some x belongs to L2. Okay, then x is of the form sigma I equal to some 1 to infinity ai ei. Using the previous result, you can write as representation is unique sigma I equal to 1 to infinity inner product of x ei ei. Okay, now okay, now consider element sigma I equal to 1 to infinity inner product of x f I f I, sorry x e I. Consider this element x e I, you will get x e I from this series, and consider this. Okay, now suppose this is some y. For this y, now what about ty? Ty equal to sigma I equal to 1 to infinity inner product of x e I ei, and that's equal to x. Okay, now what about y? Clearly y belongs to h because this is linear combination of fi's. Okay, now what about norm y? Norm of y is, actually norm of y equal to sigma I equal to 1 to infinity modulus of x e I inner product I whole square by Parseval's identity. This is equal to norm of x, this is equal to norm of x whole square, and this is less than infinity as x belongs to h. Therefore y also belongs to h as norm is less than infinity. This y belongs to h, and ty equal to x implies t is onto. Now tx equal to sigma I equal to 1 to infinity inner product of x f I e I. This is our tx. Now what about norm of tx whole square? Norm of tx whole square is equal to modulus of sigma I equal to 1 to infinity modulus of inner product of x f I whole square. Okay, and using Parseval's identity, this is equal to norm of x square. Okay, This implies norm of Tx whole square is equal to norm of x square. Now what about inner product of Tx Ty? Inner product of Tx Ty equal to sigma I equal to 1 to infinity inner product of x Fi Ei, comma, sigma I equal to 1 to infinity inner product of x Fi Ei, and this is equal to sigma I equal to 1 to infinity, this is actually y, inner product of x Fi inner product of y Fi conjugate. Okay, using our result. Now what about inner product of xy? X is equal to sigma I equal to 1 to infinity inner product x Fi Ei, and that's equal to sigma I equal to 1 to infinity Fi. Sigma I equal inner product of x Fi comma sigma I equal to 1 to infinity inner product of y Fi. Okay, now by our result, this is actually sigma I equal to 1 to infinity inner product of x Fi inner product of y Fi conjugate. These two are same. Okay, and now this is in H and this is in L2. Okay, norm 2. Therefore, these two are equal. Today we have discussed about one theorem, and the theorem says that if H1 and H2 are two separable infinite dimensional Hilbert spaces, then they are isometrically equivalent. In the next class, we will discuss some problems relating to this theorem.